The universe is just packed with these mind-bending truths, and honestly, some of the most surprising ones are hiding in plain sight. So let's kick things off with a cosmic illusion you can literally see from your own backyard.
Have you ever actually stopped to think about this? You look up, you see the sun. You look up at night, you see the moon. And somehow, these two completely different objects look like they're a perfect matchup up there. I mean, it seems like it should be impossible, right? But there's a really beautiful explanation for it.
So what you're actually witnessing is this perfect, almost unbelievable cosmic coincidence. The sun is absolutely enormous. It's 400 times bigger than our moon. But, and here's the kicker, by some incredible quirk of celestial alignment, it's also 400 times farther away. That perfect ratio means they take up the same amount of space in our field of vision. It's why we get to experience the absolute wonder of a total solar eclipse.
All right, so from a cosmic illusion, let's now journey to what you could call a cosmic tragedy. We're going to turn our attention to our next-door neighbor, Venus. We know it today as this scorching, toxic hellscape, but scientists have uncovered a really shocking history that suggests it was once Earth's twin. Just let that sink in for a second. 3 billion years. And get this isn't some sci-fi plotline. We're talking about a leading scientific theory here. For a period of time longer than complex life has even existed on Earth, Venus could have been a paradise. So the big question is, what happened?
Well, this timeline really lays out the whole dramatic story. For 3 billion years, Venus was potentially this amazing, thriving world. But then, about 700 million years ago, something went catastrophically wrong. A great cataclysm kicked off this unstoppable chain reaction, and it transformed that paradise into the inferno we see today.
I mean, just look at these numbers. The sheer scale of this change is absolutely staggering. The temperature went from, a pretty comfortable range, kind of like Earth, to 462 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to literally melt lead. Its oceans completely boiled away, and its once friendly atmosphere became this crushing blanket 90 times denser than our own. So what could possibly do that to a planet? Well, the leading theory is a massive, planet-wide volcanic event. Just try to imagine magma covering 80% of the planet's surface, all of it just pumping unbelievable amounts of CO2 into the air. Now, here on Earth, our geology reabsorbs that CO2 over time. But on Venus, the magma cooled into this solid crust that sealed the planet, trapping all that gas and creating a runaway greenhouse effect that basically cooked it alive.
Okay, so the story of Venus is, wow, it's one wild extreme. But believe me, our solar system is just full of these cosmic record breakers. From the impossibly huge to the impossibly fragile, let's take a quick tour.
We all think of Mount Everest as being like the ultimate peak, right? The tallest thing on Earth. Well, on Mars, the volcano Olympus Mons just completely dwarfs it. It stands over 25 kilometers high. That's almost 3 times taller than Everest. It's so wide that if you were standing on its summit, the slope would be so gradual you wouldn't even realize you were on a mountain. The planet's own curve would hide the base from you.
Now let's go from something massive to something incredibly delicate. Saturn's rings are just iconic. They stretch out for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, but here's the crazy part. They're unbelievably thin. To put it in perspective, if you had a model of Saturn that was about 90 centimeters wide, the rings on that model would be 10,000 times thinner than a razor blade. It's this magnificent, shimmering sheet that's almost two-dimensional.
And then, of course, there's Jupiter's Great Red Spot. This thing isn't just a storm, it's a monster storm that, at its biggest, could have swallowed 3 entire Earths. And what's really mind-blowing is that it's been raging continuously for at least 400 years, basically for as long as we've had telescopes powerful enough to see it. It's just pure, raw power.
All right, we've looked at some incredible things out there, but now let's get into the invisible forces that are pulling all the strings. We're going to tackle one of the biggest misconceptions in all of space travel: gravity. We've all seen it, right? Astronauts just floating around inside the International Space Station, all effortless and graceful. It's the image of being in space. So the big question is, are they actually in zero gravity?
And the answer is a huge surprise for most people. Nope, not even a little bit. In fact, check this out. At the altitude where the ISS orbits, Earth's gravity is still pulling with 90% of the strength it has right down here on the surface. The force is definitely still there. So, what in the world is going on?
So what's really happening is this awesome concept called orbital freefall. The whole weightless feeling has nothing to do with a lack of gravity.
It's all about the fact that the space station, the astronauts, and everything inside it is constantly falling toward Earth, but they keep missing.
Think of it like this. It's the art of missing the ground. First, gravity is doing its job, pulling the station straight down. But at the exact same time, the station is also rocketing sideways at over 28,000 kilometers an hour. That sideways speed is so perfectly fast that as it falls down, the Earth's surface curves away underneath it by the exact same amount. So it's perpetually falling around the Earth, never getting any closer. All right, now that we've got our heads around the forces right here in our neighborhood, I want you to brace yourselves. We're about to zoom out, and I mean way, way out. We're going to try and confront the truly unimaginable scale of the cosmos.
Let's start with a number that's huge, but one we can still kind of wrap our heads around. $12 million. That's the price tag for just one of NASA's spacesuits. And get this, 70% of that cost is just for the backpack, which is basically a tiny personal spaceship that keeps the astronaut alive.
Okay, now hold on, because we're about to make an absolutely insane leap in scale. From $12 million, we jump to this. Astronomers have found a single, colossal cloud of water vapor, 12 billion light-years away, that holds 140 trillion times more water than all of Earth's oceans put together. It's just staggering. And this chart really helps put our tiny little place in all this into perspective. Our universe has been around for about 13.7 billion years. The light from the most distant things we can possibly see has been traveling for almost that entire time. But here's the twist. While that light was on its journey to us, the universe itself kept expanding. So, and this is the part that just blows my mind, the actual diameter of the universe we can currently see is a staggering 93 billion light-years across.
And that brings us all the way back around. We've gone from a neat trick in our own sky to our lost twin, Venus. We've toured the wild extremes of our solar system and grappled with these huge cosmic laws and scales. And it all kind of leads back to this one final, pretty profound question. After we've seen a planet that was so much like our own die, what does that mean for the future of Earth?